I'm Laura, a 43-year-old event planner, and this is how I turned my husband's gut-punch betrayal into a glorious, laugh-out-loud takedown. Picture this: our daughter's college graduation, a sea of proud parents, and my husband, Greg, choosing that moment to announce he's leaving me. He thought he'd steal the show and leave me broken. But when I pulled my ace card, he was screaming like a toddler who lost his toy. This is petty revenge with a cherry on top. Greg and I had been married for 20 years, raising our daughter, Sophie, in Portland, Oregon. I ran a successful event planning business, coordinating weddings and corporate galas, while Greg was a freelance consultant who mostly golfed and networked. My income kept us afloat, but Greg acted like he was the big shot. Over the last year, he'd been distant, late nights, new cologne, and a locked phone. I suspected he was cheating, but stayed focused on Sophie's final year at Stanford. Sophie's graduation was a big deal. Valedictorian, Stanford's sunny campus, the works. I'd planned every detail: flights, hotel, even a post-ceremony party for Sophie's friends and family. Greg seemed checked out, but I chalked it up to his usual flakiness. During the ceremony, after Sophie's speech got a standing ovation, the MC opened the mic for family tributes. Greg stood up, adjusted his tie, and said, "Laura, I'm done. I'm leaving you for someone better." The auditorium went dead silent. Sophie's face fell. I felt like I'd been slapped, but I smiled and whispered, "Noted, Greg." Why? Because I'd known about his affair for months, and I'd planned a surprise he'd never see coming. 3 months earlier, I'd found Greg's secret email account while fixing his laptop. He was emailing Lisa, his 30-year-old life coach, planning to run off with her after draining our joint savings. He'd already moved $60,000 to a new account, thinking I was too busy to notice. I'm an event planner. I track budgets like a hawk. I hired a PI who dug up dirt. Greg and Lisa had booked a Caribbean getaway, funded by my money, and Greg was pitching himself as a consulting guru to Lisa's rich clients, using my business contacts. I met with a divorce lawyer who loved the paper trail. Oregon's equitable distribution laws meant I could protect my assets if I proved Greg's financial misconduct. I quietly transferred my business funds to a secure account and gathered evidence of his theft. But the real gem? I'd been managing Sophie's graduation party, and I controlled the guest list. Greg didn't know I'd invited some very special guests, Lisa's wealthy clients who thought Greg was a legit consultant. I also tipped off Greg's biggest client, a local CEO, about his side hustle. They were all in the audience, waiting for my signal. I didn't want to just divorce Greg. I wanted him to crash and burn in front of his new, better life. Before the graduation, I'd coordinated with Sophie, who was furious about Greg's affair, to add a special announcement to the party agenda. I'd also sent anonymous emails to Lisa's clients, hinting that Greg's credentials were shaky, and he'd been double-dipping with their funds. They were curious enough to RSVP. At the post-graduation party held in a chic Stanford banquet hall, Greg was preening, Lisa clinging to his arm, oblivious to the storm brewing. I took the stage, mic in hand, and said, "Before we toast Sophie, let's honor Greg's big announcement. He's leaving me, for Lisa, who's here tonight." I gestured to Lisa, who froze as heads turned. "And since Greg's pitching himself as a consultant, let's hear from his clients." I called up the CEO and 2 of Lisa's investors, who I'd briefed earlier. The CEO stood and said, "Greg, you're fired for misrepresenting my company." The investors followed, accusing Greg of fraud. The crowd gasped. Then, I dropped the kicker. "Oh, And Greg, I've frozen our accounts. Good luck funding your Caribbean trip. I flashed a screenshot of his empty bank account on the projector. Blurred for privacy, but clear enough to humiliate. Greg screamed, "You set me up!" and stormed toward me, but Sophie's friends blocked him, chanting, "Go, Laura!" Lisa bolted, and Greg was escorted out by security as the party cheered. Greg tried to sue, but my lawyer buried him with evidence of his theft. The divorce was a slam dunk. I kept my business, our house, and most assets. Greg's consulting career tanked. Last I heard, he's selling insurance and living in a studio apartment. Lisa ghosted him when her clients cut ties. Sophie and I are tighter than ever, and she's thriving in a Portland grad program, funded by my business. My event planning company got a boost from the viral story. Clients love a badass planner. The party video posted on TikTok by Sophie's friend hit 2 million views, with comments dubbing, "Greg, screaming consultant." I'm planning Sophie's 25th birthday bash now, and Greg's not invited. Revenge is sweet, but upstaging a cheater at your kid's graduation? That's a 5-star event. Husband announced he was leaving me at our daughter's graduation, thinking he'd humiliate me. I exposed his affair and fraud to his clients at her party, froze his accounts, and watched him scream as his life imploded. Won the divorce and threw the best party ever. Karma's on the VIP list